to the Can't Teach Taste podcast with your boy Matt Gannum and your boy Todd Tomlinson.
What up, though?
What's good, man? It's been a couple weeks.
Got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we got a lot, man. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Let's jump right in, though, to Draymond versus Kenyon Martin, the battle of the century. You know, one of my favorite online battles, definitely this year, man. They're going at it. And it's crazy to see, like, Swaggy coming in with the Draymond Green jersey that's really a Jason Richardson jersey, trying to just drum up some drama, and Kmart's like mad. So what are your thoughts, man? There's a lot of different ways to go with this one.
It's entertaining. It's always, goes back to it's as old as time, man. Like my era versus yours. Yeah, kind of talk. Kenyon Martin was a great player, obviously in his time, and the power forwards during that time were built a little bit differently. I think Kenyon Martin has a lot of good points, honestly. I'm more from his school, but Draymond, for as flawed as he is sometimes as a player, I mean, his accolades and his accomplishments kind of speak for themselves. So we can always lean on that because, I mean, Kenyon Martin never really, won anything, right? But I think there are good points made, honestly. You know what I mean? But I think it's entertaining. I like it. I like at least it jumps up the talk, right? It gets us talking when you look back at some of the folks that Kenyon Martin had discussed and talked about and basically say Draymond could do nothing with those guys. And I do think Draymond is partially his success as part of the system he's been in. Yeah, I don't know if he's, in Charlotte or if he's in Portland, if he's having the type of success, obviously not with wins and championships, we know that, but just as a player, I think he's in the perfect situation. He's perfect for Golden State, but I don't know, man. I think Kenyon Martin's got some points there. What do you think?
I mean, obviously Kenyon Martin, number one overall pick, right, out of Cincinnati, highly touted, one of the best big men or fours that played during that time. Obviously a different game to your point. Draymond, you're going to list out NBA championships or all-star selections or any of these things. I mean, you got Dennis Rodman, who's a Hall of Famer, who's never played in an all-star game, right? Draymond's got 4 all-star appearances, which is kind of crazy.
That's wild.
I mean, would the Warriors have won 4 championships without him? No, probably not. I mean, look, maybe if they keep KD and not him and Jordan Poole, maybe they win 2022 without him. They're not winning the first one without him. They may win the other ones without him. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, he's got 9 all defensive teams. He's got 1 defensive player of the year, right? I mean, does he win defensive player of the year or any of these things if he's on a, 42 or 41 or 41 team? I don't know, man. Yeah. Obviously, Kenyon Martin went to 2 finals. He was there with Jason Kidd. I think he might have been the leading scorer on those teams. But I mean, what I was surprised at is that his average points per game is pretty similar to Draymond's, not too much higher. Obviously, Draymond's going to average, way more assists than him and about the same amount of rebounds. But I mean, if you're telling me who's winning a one-on-one, obviously Kenyon Martin, not even close, probably. Now, if it's a 3 dribble, Draymond hits a couple jump shots. I don't know because he can handle the ball a little bit. Obviously, he's a better playmaker. He's better to use in action. I mean, especially in the prime of his career when he was shooting damn near 40% from 3. I mean, that was part of the reason why they go 73-9 because when he shoots 30%, I mean, they lose a lot of those games. So it's hard to say. I mean, obviously, all the stuff Kenyon said, like, what are you going to do with Rasheed Wallace? What are you going to do with, the big ticket? What is he going to do with, Kevin Garnett? Right?
Those guys are great. I mean, they're great power forwards back in that day. And, kind of to your point, Kenyon Martin, number 1 pick, great player. I mean, none of them shot the ball particularly well. Kenyon Martin's one of the most athletic, I think, fours we've seen in a long time. In Draymond, I don't want to take anything away from Draymond. I do think he is a great player defensively in what he does, the stuff he does that doesn't show up in the stat sheet, right? Even if you look at the screens he sets for Steph, stuff that you can't even quantify sometimes. So, Draymond's going to go down as one of the best, I'd say, role players that has ever played the game, and he's been vital to those teams. And obviously he gets overshadowed because he had Steph and Clay and KD and even Iguodala, to some extent. But yeah, man, I like it because they're both, like, when you think of personality, they're both cut from the same cloth, man. It's kind of mean. They're dogs. They're going to get in your face. So, even though they're beefing, it's almost like, they're they're twins in that aspect, right? They're kind of like one and the same. So I appreciate the way both of them play. Though I'll say that we need more Kenyon Martins and Draymond Greens, I think, in the NBA because it's gotten a little soft. That's a story for another day. But
it's fair to call him the best role player of all time. The only other person I would consider in that is like a Dennis Rodman, right?
Yeah. Which is crazy. And the point you made that Dennis Rodman, I'd say the best rebounder of all time, one of the best defenders at his position, never made an All-Star game is pretty crazy. But yeah, I think I don't have any problem with saying, Draymond's the best role player ever.
We should see them in a boxing match though, because they're both those guys, and they'll say that Draymond doesn't want it with anyone his size, he's going to pick on Jordan Poole or whatever. But I mean, Kenyon Martin wants it. You can see it.
Yeah. He does. Yeah. I don't want to smoke with Martin, with K Martin. That's for sure.
Draymond went on and said that Swaggy P swung a series for the Warriors, right? Which of course, obviously he's just doing that to, because they always tell Swaggy he's trash, And he was like, Kenyon was supposed to swing the series and he couldn't. And Kenyon's like, well, I had the most points in the regular season. I had the most points in that series. I don't know what you want me to do. What am I swinging? So, I mean, I love the beef, man. I love watching the back and forth. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on the same stage, or maybe on the court or in the ring or something, because I think it would be awesome. And obviously he's not going to back Kenyon Martin. Neither one of them are backing down. That's for sure.
No. And Kenyon Martin's got that platform on the pod to be able to speak his mind, which is good. And Swaggy P, for those that don't know, he's a hooper, man. I played against Swaggy P out here back in my college days during pickup when he was in high school, and that just tells you the level of NBA. Swaggy P was special, man. We talk about he's a pure scorer. I think from the neck up, little, loose cannon, not the smartest, but that boy could hoop. So shout out to Swaggy P.
Yeah, man, you're taking one of them on your team. If you're
okay. I guess, it depends on who else is on the roster, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's tough. It's I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't even know.
All right, if you are the 2015 Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, then you're taking, I think, Draymond. What do you think?
Yeah.
2015 Thunder, you got the young talent, you got the scoring, and I think you need a guy to get, the KDs open to, help James to do, more of the dirty work. Not that Kenyon Martin didn't do the dirty work, but I think those guys at that time needed someone who could instill winning. They're all so young that they didn't have anybody on that team that really had been a winner. And I don't know if you're talking about in their primes or whatever, but
you just take the best version of them and stick them on this team.
The winning pedigree, I think, is what that team needed at that time, right? They were young. They didn't have anybody who had really won before. I think that I would take Draymond.
I'm going to mess a lot of people up. What about 2025, 2026 San Antonio Spurs?
I might go Draymond again, just because, again, you're looking at that team and they don't have anybody that's won. They lost Chris Paul, who also hasn't won anything, but at least he was more of a vet. You got Wemby, and those guys need to get that winning mentality and some of those things instilled. Whether it's Harper, it's Castle, it's obviously all those guys. I think that I'd want Draymond.
What about the Suns finals team where they lost to the Bucks?
Ooh. I think I'm taking Kmart. You need a little bit more. I don't know, like that's tough too. And the reason why is I'm thinking back on that team when they lost to the Bucks. Actually, this is crazy. Actually, it might be Draymond, because you need somebody to kind of neutralize. You're not going to neutralize Giannis, but I think Draymond is probably going to match up a little bit better defensively. He's a better defender, So yeah, I'm going Draymond. You might be answering the question on who.
Weird, man. I was going through all these teams in my head, trying to figure out where I would take Kenyon Martin.
It's Draymond, ain't it?
On any good team, you're taking Draymond, because
unless you need just a little bit more, athleticism and maybe a little bit more scoring. To your point, I'm not saying Kenyon Martin was vastly a better scorer than Draymond has been, but I think he's better. Unless you need some scoring.
I mean, if we're talking 80s teams, maybe it's Kenyon Martin when it's like real physical, like a lot bigger, down there, right? But obviously now we play small with space and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, even on the 96, even on the Bulls team, if you had to replace Rodman with Draymond or Kenyon Martin, who are you replacing him with? It ain't going to be Kenyon Martin.
Yeah.
Who are you replacing Horace Grant with?
Yeah.
So, imagine if Jordan had someone like that, dude. Obviously, he had Pippen playing that role to an extent, but, from playing defense and big guy handling the ball in transition and stuff, back then there wasn't a lot of players that were getting the rebound and started the break. So
true. Kenyon can't really do that. You get kind of you see Kenyon, the highlights is what he's going to give you. He's going to give you the lobs. You know what I mean? He's going to dunk with authority and tear the rim down. But it's the stuff that Draymond does that you don't really see on the box score.
What got Gil's Arena to go crazy was Swaggy saying, give me 10 players in your era that were going to get a rebound, that could handle the ball in transition, put it between their legs, get to the spot and hand the ball off. And they didn't want any part of that, bro. They did not want any part of that. They tried. I think Dennis Rodman came out of one of either Gil or Kenyon's mouth, but nobody wanted that because it just. I mean, Tim Duncan's not even doing that, right? In transition,
And listen, man, it is what it is. We talked about this before. The game has evolved, and the players today are just more. Most of them are more skilled, right? You got point forwards now. Now these, the big men are learning how to handle the ball. Back then, it was just get your ass on the block. You're not bringing the ball off the court. Now they're more skilled, man. It is what it is. So I could go a whole league and probably couldn't think of 5 that could do that.
No, it's crazy because if we were going to play pickup right now and you told me to take Draymond or Kenyon Martin, I would take Kenyon Martin. If we had to play 3-on-3, I'm taking Kenyon Martin first pick. Get every rebound. He's going to be physical. Do all the things, but it's not, it's not a team game over 7 series or a 7-game series. You know what I mean?
Agree.
I couldn't believe this when I was going through teams, and I was even thinking maybe you take him on the Dallas team that lost in the finals over Draymond, just because Luca literally didn't pass the ball to anyone. So maybe that's one, but most of the good teams you'd want a Draymond on over a Kmart, which is crazy because obviously Kmart was just a force,
Right.
So
right. Yeah. No, it's that's true. Sorry, Kmart. We did the exercise, man. I thought it was a little bit closer, brother. I don't know if it is.
Man. I couldn't believe it either because obviously I love Draymond and he reminds me of Dylan Brooks, which we'll get into in a bit. But it's where you either love him or you hate him, and so you only love him if he's your evil. But I mean, Draymond, if I'm starting, it's crazy. Even if you think who you want to start a team with. I mean, in this era, it's crazy,
Yeah.
Because Draymond, Draymond the other night, the Warriors won. Obviously, Steph's out. They're playing a terrible team. Are they playing? I don't remember who they were playing. They were playing anyway. Draymond's 0 of 8, 0 of 6 from 3 or something. It's just he does stuff like that, and you're still man, in a 7-game series, you probably want him. Kenyon Martin's not going 0 of 8, 0 of 6 or 3. You know what I mean?
He's not. But again, Draymond's doing other things that affect winning, and it's not shit that they keep stats on. Again, it's setting a good high screen to get Steph open for that open shot, right? It's it's curling towards the basket, making that extra pass for the third pass that he already sees. He knows if I pass it here, then that guy's going to swing it to Steph for an open 3. It's it's again from the neck up. He's a great player from that regard. So yeah, man,
crazy. But I think it's Draymond. I mean, I'm not taking Draymond in a fight by any stretch. But
not neither.
Maybe not even now, even though Kenyon's probably. I mean, what is Kenyon Martin? Probably
47.
Yeah, he's almost 50.
He's 47. And I saw him. I was telling you, I saw him the other day out here in Southern California, just getting out of a car, and he's still in shape, man. You want no parts of that guy. It looks like he can still go out there and give you, 8 points and 5 boards.
Yeah.
Beast.
All right, man. Well, let me ask you this. Let's jump into your boys, the Lakers. The real question is, obviously, we can talk about the Suns game in a second, but I mean, obviously, do you think they're real contenders? And I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. Can they compete to get to the Western Conference Finals, and can they beat OKC? That's a real contender, right? And that's assuming that Shea doesn't hurt himself. What are your thoughts, man? Because they're obviously looking better to an extent than I thought they would, especially with Austin Reaves. But I also think that, your boy LeBron's going to bring Austin Reaves back to reality. So
here's the thing. They're playing way better than I thought they would, for sure. Luca's having the type of year that we thought he might. The guy came in shape and he's balling. Austin Reaves has taken that step up that we were talking about that he needed to in order for the Lakers to be successful. I just don't know if they have enough consistency outside of those two guys. Those two guys are the top scoring duo in the NBA by almost 13 points. So you're relying so heavily on them to score. The problem is those guys aren't great defenders. So you got to outscore teams every night. Luka's greatness is going to win you a lot of games. And Austin Reaves is playing great. It's going to be interesting to see over time how the implementation of LeBron kind of affects that. But you need like consistent play out of people like Rui and Ayton, and you're still not quite getting it. They are playing much better. So are they contenders in the West, meaning that can they make it to the Western Conference Finals? Yes. Can they beat OKC? Hell no. I don't think there's just by seeing OKC, bro, like right now and what they've done without Williams in the beginning of the year. And that team is just so talented. They're so deep. They play so well together. They got just so many horses, and they come at you so many different ways that I just don't see a team that can beat those guys right now. Shea's still playing at just an MVP level. They're tough. The Lakers aren't nearly as talented as they are. So it would need an injury or something like that right now for the Lakers to be able to compete. Can they make it to the Western Conference Finals? Maybe because of how well Luka's playing in Reaves, but they're not beating OKC, man.
Yeah, man. It's kind of ruining the season for me, honestly. The Thunder, man, where they're 20-1. They're not as good as the Warriors. I think 22 or 23-0, but it doesn't matter because they're younger. Their oldest player is Alex Caruso at 31. They don't need to rest anyone. They don't need to play everyone to win damn near any of these games, right? So like it's a damper, man. You go through the West and you look down and you're like, all right, Houston's playing well. Like they're they're formidable. You've got Phoenix, who's, I mean, shit. We haven't even seen the Suns yet. We haven't even seen the Suns yet. We can get into that. I mean, there's so many teams that are good, and then you just look at OKC and you're like, who's going to beat them? It's going to take dismantling Dallas and putting the pieces in the right place, maybe, or dismantling. They might dismantle Sacramento with DeRozan and Sabonis. Some of those guys. It's going to have to take something like that. Like in these teams too, the trade deadline's in like 2.5 months or 2 months. 2.5 months. They need to start thinking about a pre-Christmas trade to figure out how to implement these players because, okay, it's going through Oklahoma. Like they're going to be the number 1 seed, right? Shea could probably take off every other game and they'd probably be the number 1 seed because they're so deep and everyone's playing. Like Chet's playing so well, and obviously Jalen Williams just came back. So when you look at essentially. Also, to your point with your boy Austin Reaves, what a guy, man. Turning down 4 years, $90 million. Everyone's like, this dude's out of his mind.
About himself.
Maybe
I know.
He's not, bro. Maybe he's not, man.
But on yourself, man. You roll the dice big time. He's hooping, bro. Offensively, he is so good. Like if you watch him play, he is so good. Angles, be able to create space, shooting the ball really well. He can play. What sucks, to your point, is that there's so much parity, I feel like, in the NBA outside of OKC. So much parity, right? If OKC disappeared, you wouldn't know who to pick for the NBA championship or the finals, right? And that's what, makes basketball or any sport great. When you have a team that's that much better, like the Warriors with KD and Steph and those guys, it's like no team can beat them. It's almost like when you think of like track and field, if someone's the fastest in the world, like Usain Bolt, you're playing for second. You can't. There's nothing you can do. He's just faster than you, right? And these teams are so much better that it's almost like if they stay healthy, and basketball is in the NFL, man. We talk about it all the time. It's you got to beat a team 4 times, so the best team always wins. Because you have to win 4 games, not just one. If it was like the NCAA tournament, hell, you catch them on a bad night. Who the hell knows,
Luka
right?
gives you 50. Who knows, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, there's so much parity, and OKC, you're fucking it up.
I mean, you look at the Lakers, Rockets, Nuggets, and Spurs are kind of all in that second tier, at least through, a quarter of the season, give or take, right? So any of those teams, and obviously, the Rockets are trying to figure out they've played better. They've won 8 out of their last 10, right? Which not how they started the season. They're figuring that out. Denver is Denver. Like, they're built for the playoffs. They don't care.
That's the only team. That's the only team right now that I think it
could beat them last year too.
It's the greatness of Jokic, and I think that OKC can throw enough perimeter defenders at Luca, or maybe even like a Durant. But when it comes to Jokic, Hartenstein, there's just nothing. The greatness of him and what he can do to get other people involved, and if Aaron Gordon's playing well and Jamal Murray is hitting shots, that's the one team that I think could maybe give them right now, a problem.
Denver's proven they don't care about the regular season either. So like they're a game behind the Lakers. They don't care where they finish. Honestly, they don't. And the Spurs, they haven't really been healthy, and they're right there too. I don't think the Spurs,
still too young.
They're good, but it's just not. Maybe they maybe they trade some of their assets, some of their young players. Maybe they trade De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Or picks, and they add a veteran presence. I mean, they could get a DeRozan or get a they don't need a Sabonis necessarily, but maybe an AD or something to put next to Wemby. I don't know, and that would obviously make a difference. And I will say this too, as we look through the next month or so, I think you're going to see Dallas start to creep back in. I mean, Dallas isn't very far. I mean, dude, they're 2 games behind Portland's 10 spot, right? And I wouldn't want to see Dallas in the playoffs because obviously Kyle will come back, but Cooper had I think his first 30-point game the other night.
Playing much better.
He's playing well. I mean, obviously Anthony Davis. I mean, did they beat Denver last night? They beat Denver last night, right?
Yeah.
I think AD put up 30 plus, right?
AD's fucking never right, man. That's the problem. If you could guarantee AD's healthy, then yeah, man. But fuck, it's just.
Yeah. I mean, dude. So Dallas is going to slide back in there. They're gonna. I mean, Memphis is ahead of them. Memphis is a grave site. You know what I mean? So the real contenders are in that second tier, but it's probably only Denver outside of some crazy injury. Because obviously Shea going down would be huge, but you take Luka and if he's hurt or KD's hurt, Jokic is hurt, or any of the best players are hurt. It's obviously Steph was hurt last year, and they're a shell of themselves, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, shit, dude. Still, even without Shea, I mean, they probably need Shea to win, but they would still make it tough on everyone.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to play him even without Shea. With Shea, it's impossible, but even without him, because they're just pests on defense, man. They get in the passing lanes. They defend you all the way up the court. They can knock down shots. They play together. It's just not a team you want to play, man. They get up and down the court. It's a shitty team to have to play. Their style of play is just annoying.
And there's only 3 real teams that could probably make the finals. I guess you can include the Raptors and the Magic. Maybe the Cavs. I'm going to say the Pistons, Knicks, or the Heat are the.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of those teams could beat OKC.
No.
Any of those teams probably can't beat Denver.
No,
so.
No, not right now. No, I mean the Knicks still have a far way to go. I like they're still learning the system. I think Karl Anthony Towns is becoming a bit of a problem, honestly, on that team, and I don't know if they're going to try to move him. Just doesn't defend, man, at all. But the Heat. Our man Norman Powell, it looks like that was a mistake at the Clippers letting him go. He's been playing out of his fucking mind. And then Cade Cunningham, and then we discussed it, I think, on the pod before the season that he's going to be one of those players that takes that step. And Cade is a beast, man. And I'm surprised of how well they've been playing because again, they lost 2 key pieces in Tim Hardaway Jr. and Beasley, right? So they haven't missed a step, man. Jalen Duren and Cade
would be a candidate for most improved player, dude. I mean, he's more improved than I thought. I mean, he's wild, man.
Great.
So
he's great.
Let's talk about. We can talk about last night real quick to segue into the Suns, but so Phoenix goes into LA. Obviously, no Jalen Green, no Grayson Allen, who's put up 40 this year. I mean, he's probably the 3rd, maybe best player on the 4th. He's a starter. And then Book goes out. I don't know how you were watching. How serious was his injury? I was watching Monday Night Football.
It was a groin, I can't really tell, but those
it's
soft tissue injuries.
It's gonna be he'll be out till Christmas or something like that.
It's tricky. fucking terrible loss by the Lakers, by the way. I just, to your point, you got those three guys out who are your
Played
top
9 minutes.
Yes, and you don't have Allen and Jalen Green still isn't playing. You let Dylan Brooks and Gillespie just torch you when you have your full team. You have Luca, you have Austin, you have LeBron at home. Those are the games you get. Those are the games that great teams don't lose. And that's why when you look at the Lakers, you're like, you're capable of having games like this. Like to be a contender, you're not capable of losing to that team at home. Yeah. And like the whole game too. Like it was like
Dylan Brooks puts up 35 or whatever on you, 33. I mean, he shot 11 for 17 from the field. Like you got to be able to guard him.
Got to, man.
Who's checking him? Because Luke, like what I think about the Lakers defense. Bron's not going to guard him all game. So who's guarding him?
No, I mean, you just a myriad of people. You're switching pick and rolls, and you're getting Rui on them or Ayton on them, and he's hitting shots. And Dylan Brooks is offensively has played pretty well this year, man. This has to be I have to look. It has to be statistically
like 23. I mean, this is best far, man. And he's got a green light, like a green light, not like a yellow light, not like a flashing green light. And I had a conversation at one of the Suns games. I'm not going to say who, but it was one of the players' family members, and I was like, "Yo, what's up with his green light?" And he was like, "Yo, it's like hard to see a player with like he's like you don't want to take the confidence away from a player with that kind of confidence because it's hard to get it back. Even though like you could kind of see on his face, it's like how is this dude taking more shots than Book some of these times? But I mean, he's got a green light, and he believes. I mean, I went to the game against the Hawks. I think he had 37 or something like that, and he was. I mean, I couldn't believe some of the shots Dylan Brooks was making. And obviously on defense, he's a problem. You see him like he's trying to fight with LeBron, like he dunked and then he did the like that, and just giving LeBron a hard time. I think he said LeBron likes people to bow down. I'm a competitor. I'm not going to bow down, So I mean, he's in the spirit of the Draymond Green conversation, he gives the Suns that edge that they didn't have before. And obviously there's a new coach. I don't know what this guy's doing, but Colin Gillespie's hooping, which he kind of hooped last year. Obviously, Grayson Allen's unlocked like he was pre-Bradley Beal. So this dude's doing something. But I guess my real question is, outside of the fact that, the Suns are 13-9 and they've only been fully healthy for one game, which is Jalen Green had, I think, 29 in that game, is, what does it say about Kevin Durant?
Yeah, that's true. What does it say about Kevin Durant? I think a couple of things. It's that cohesiveness matters, and coaching matters. And as talented as Kevin Durant is, it doesn't always look. I'm not going to be that guy, but Kevin Durant, you had to go to a situation to win where there's already a winning culture and winning players there already. A lot of times Kevin Durant's talent hasn't transitioned into winning. Just hasn't, for as great as he is, he just hasn't. So I don't know. And Kevin Durant's one of my favorite players. So it just hasn't, and even in Houston, like, I thought that they would be, even better than they are. And the Fred VanVleet thing really hurt them. But yeah, I'm pretty shocked on how well. And look, it's not like they're 20-1, but I'm shocked at how well the Suns are playing. I thought they'd be bottom of the barrel.
13-9.
Without Jalen Green.
And Brooks missed a couple games. Grayson's missed some games. Dylan Brooks missed some games. Like they haven't even been close to healthy. Mm-hmm. And last year they were the 11th seed. They were below 500, and they haven't been healthy. Right? They've been more exciting to watch. They've had 20-point comebacks. They've had 20-point wins. One thing I'll say I've never seen in my life watching basketball is I've been to two Suns games where Russell Westbrook and Trae Young were turning around telling the fans, Dylan Brooks is trash. He's trash. Every time he'd shoot the ball, they yell trash. Like Trae Young would turn around and be like, I told you guys, he's trash. He's a bum. Russell Westbrook was out on the court yelling bum at him as he's shooting. And I mean,
he's the most hated. He's the most hated, bro. He more than Draymond.
Which is crazy because I've seen a lot of Warriors games where I've never seen that.
Well, Draymond at least gets some respect because he's won. I think the issue with Dylan Brooks is he's never won, and he talks so much shit and talks shit to players and about players that are clearly way better than he is. But I think he's off a little bit, and he has that confidence, and good for him. And he's that one player, to your point, that you hate to play against him, but you love it when he's on your team because he gives you that edge.
He's got the green light, man. I've never seen anything like it.
Wow.
So, I hate asking the question about what does it say about Kevin Durant. Obviously, love KD, loved him his whole career. He's from where I'm from, man. Like, I want to see him win. Obviously, if Steph doesn't win again, like this year, I would love the Rockets to win. But, there was some cultural issue in the team. I don't know if it was his fault or not, whether it was coaching or whoever. But Book seems different. Obviously great. Like there's so many changes. And part of that's the coaching, right? Because now Bradley Beal's gone too. And so Grayson Allen and Colin Gillespie can play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You weren't playing before because you were playing Bradley Beal. I mean, Colin Gillespie actually started a little bit last year. Grayson barely played. And Beal, still took his minutes. So I don't know, man. It's
fair.
What if the Suns finish 7th? They
might. You get Jalen Green healthy, and when he has played, he's had some really good games.
And Royce O'Neal, don't forget, is hooping too. He's shooting. They're a great shooting team, and Mark Williams is whatever. They don't play Malawash at all.
He's still too young.
Yeah,
they shot 44% from 3 last night. I mean, to your point, O'Neal hit some deep shots, a couple of deep threes.
Had some bangers, man. And then Oso Ighodara's playing, above where I thought he's punching above his weight class. And they're not playing Nick Richards much, but so they don't really. That role is kind of whatever. I mean, they're just hitting so many shots, and they play in transition. They play with energy. It's high effort. Everyone's on the floor. Everyone's diving. Everyone's doing all the things that you need to do to win. And there's only been one game that I've watched where they they didn't have a chance. I mean, they've been in all these games, man. Even last night, I couldn't believe when because I was flipping through on my phone and I saw 9 minutes. That's weird. And then I saw how many shots Dylan Brooks took, and then I Googled it and I was like, oh crap. Books out, and I couldn't. I was like, "There's no way they're going to maintain this lead. No way." And they did it. It didn't even crack.
No, it didn't. They maintained it the whole way, and Lakers never really made that big of a run. And as great as Luca is, he does have games like he did yesterday. I think the Lakers had 22 turnovers. You're not going to win turning the ball over 22 times. Luca had 9. I think Austin Reaves had 5. So between the two, you had 14. I think LeBron had 3. So, but 9 turnovers, 22 as a team. I believe Phoenix had 11. So you turn the ball over, giving other teams, extra shots. It's, and they shot, and Phoenix shot so well from the 3-point line that, in mixture with the turnovers. I mean, the Lakers just, it was bad. I mean,
Luka has some of the Steph in him where he just some of the bad passes and turnovers that Steph makes, where you're just like, and it's like, you want the players so confident they think they can do all that stuff, but there's some times where it's like you just got to clamp it down a little bit, and Luka has that in him. Obviously, he dropped 38, and you still get blown out. And I will say this, I got to take my LeBron shots where I can. Your boy stayed in that game. Didn't matter solely to get 10 points to not let that streak break. That's all he thought about last night.
Maybe.
That's it.
Maybe at that point when the game's out of hand, maybe. I mean, look, LeBron he's still coming back, but he's, this isn't 2000.
He is deferring to Austin Reaves, though. I mean,
as he should.
We haven't.
As he should.
I don't know if he would, though, because
he needs to.
What the LeBron stands say about Steph is that 2 of his championships don't count because Kevin Durant was the best player. They say Kevin Durant's don't count because he had to go to the Warriors. They say Jordan needed Pippen, and LeBron's always been the best player no matter what. But what if they somehow, I don't know, man, if he's the 3rd best player on the team?
Yeah, I don't think that changes his status in history with, if he was the best player on the team, to your point, but I think LeBron at this point in his career, you're never going to win a championship with LeBron being your best player. You know what I mean? So he's got to be the 3rd best player. He's got to defer. He's got to orchestrate. He's got to almost, honestly, man, be like a Draymond Green.
He can. He could be the best Draymond Green if he wanted to.
And that will help the Lakers a lot. And he'll still have games where he's going to give you 28. He's going to have a game here and there where he gives you 30, but he's not. This isn't 2015 LeBron. It's just not, and that's okay. He's still a great player, can do great things, but you have to let Austin and Luca steer the ship, at least offensively, obviously.
I want to see if Austin could do this for a whole season, because obviously now they're having all these crazy conversations about him, things like that. You know what I mean? But he dropped 16 last night, right? In a game where he played, about as many minutes as Steph plays on a normal night, which is like mid-30s.
Yeah, not great.
How many games like that is he going to have? Because obviously, like, Luka's not going to have many games like that. But I don't know what they're going to do either, because obviously LeBron leaves at the end of the year. Then you have to pay Austin Reaves $60 million or whatever. And then you take LeBron's money, give it to Austin Reaves, and then how are you getting Jokic or Giannis or whoever you're trying to get? So
yeah. They're going to pay him too, I think, just because. Look, Austin Reaves is theirs, man. They found him, for the most part, right? He wasn't a lottery pick. You got to keep good players in house, but when you have a couple of players making that much money, obviously
neither one of those guys can play defense, which is the hard problem.
That's why you got to surround them. That's the problem. You got to surround them with.
The Warriors did that with Steph. Steph's a willing defender, but not as capable. But when you have Clay, Draymond and Andre or KD or whoever, everyone else on there can play. It I don't want to say protects him, but it allows him to be a willing defender that can be functional. But when you have those two guys out there, what are Steph and Draymond going to do putting those guys in action? It's just
that's what you're going to do the whole time. I think Austin's willing, not capable. I think at times Luka just isn't willing. The problem is, and you've called this out before, he'll go down, our guy will feel like he got fouled and he sit down there and he'll argue with the ref while, everybody else is running back, in transition and getting the basket.
The highlight where Dylan Brooks dunked and did the LeBron shrug started with Luka fall away from the elbow, trying to get fouled, nowhere near making the shot. He didn't run back. Dylan Brooks ran right by him. He's arguing for the foul. And it's just like, if he actually tried to make that shot, he might have, but he didn't.
If he changes that, look, Luka is fucking as talented as I've ever seen in a basketball player. He's amazing. But you got to get better defensively, man. You can't win without playing defense. And to your point, you got two guys who aren't great defenders, and you got to surround them with guys that can, I guess you have to be able to hide them.
Mm-hmm. You got to hide them a little bit. They got to hide Steph. They take Steph out at the end of the game. If they're up, 4 points and there's 30 seconds left, they'll take him out and put him back in when they get the ball. Right.
Here's the problem. In the playoffs, man, the good teams are going to get the matchups they want one way or the other. They're going to put Steph, they're going to put Austin or Luka in action to make sure that they're switching, they get the matchups that they like, and that's just the way it is. So you either got to come over and bring help, make sure your rotations are good. That's what good teams do. That's what the Warriors have been able to do. They rotate, they help each other on defense. I'm not sure the Lakers are there yet. They're definitely not there yet, but if they want to win anything, they got to get
there. They're outperforming where they should be, I'll say. But, a game like last night, that's why they can't, at least in my opinion, as it currently stands, beat a good team in a 7-game series.
I agree.
It's tough.
I agree.
And I've been getting a lot of shit from the Lakers fans. Like, they're telling me how, wait till LeBron comes back and, Luka and Austin Reaves. And I'm just like, look, Luka gets 40 or Austin Reaves gets 40, you're probably going to win. But, you got to have to play defense, and the game shrinks in the playoffs. And these teams don't care about these games. The Suns care a lot, though. So I've seen that. Their effort's higher than a lot of other teams this year because they don't have any expectations. You have Dylan Brooks, who's carrying a chip all the way from, Canada to Phoenix. It's on his shoulder, right? He's carrying it, and it comes out. And obviously you got Colin Gillespie, big chip on his shoulder, right? You got, Grayson Allen chip on his shoulder, Royce O'Neal chip on his shoulder. Outside of Book, obviously Jalen Green. But outside of Book, everyone that's playing has something immensely to prove, and Book does too. It's just more of when playoff time comes, and I think he's going to prove it. He's hooping. Golden Child. What's wrong with the Warriors, man? I think they're 11-10. Steph's having arguably one of his best seasons he's ever had. He's cooking.
I'll tell you what's wrong, man, and I hate to say it, man. I was never high on the Warriors because. Never high on them. And all the championship talk in the beginning of the year, I was so confused by. Steph is Steph. He is still one of the best players in the league. I just don't think I just don't see the supporting cast. I don't see them. I don't see Steph having enough help. Draymond's Draymond. He's older, though. He's going to do the little things we talked about earlier. Jimmy Butler seems like, a shell of himself. You get up and down play from people like Buddy Hield. Podziemski is still playing a lot of minutes.
Podziemski, man.
Yeah, and like Kuminga, it's just like the Kuminga thing, the experiment. It doesn't. The experiment's over. Like, it's time to try to move on and see what you can get for Kuminga. They're not giving. And I was like annoyed. I'm not even a Warriors fan, but I love Steph. I was annoyed going into the year. I just didn't think they did enough to surround Steph with enough going into the year. Maybe they tried, dude. I don't know, but. Yeah, Steph.
You got to get rid of Podziemski. If I'm the GM, I'm getting rid of Podziemski to take him away from Steve Kerr, because Steve Kerr thinks that he's something that he's not.
Yeah.
Right? Podziemski even said he wants to be better than Steph, right? He's,
Fuck, that's
come on.
Stupid. Keep that to yourself, bro. Like,
you got to get rid of him, and you get rid of Kuminga, and you probably get rid of Buddy Hield, because he's not like the game that he had against the Rockets in Game 7 last year. He's having that once out of 15. So if you get rid of those guys and whatever picks you have, right, they're signing Seth Curry. So maybe he'll play some. He shot 45% from three last year. And they need shooters bad, right?
Yeah, they need shooting. Yeah.
You play him and you get something for those guys, man, because you got to get them out of there. Jimmy Butler's playing okay enough, in my opinion.
Okay, but he's the number 2 on a team that's supposed to be a championship contender. You need him to be, Clay, not play the way Clay did, but back when Clay was the number 2, he was giving you games where it was like it didn't matter if Steph was out there.
He's not going to give you 30. That's the problem. Clay could give you 30. He can't. Kuminga could give you 30. He's not. They don't even start him. They're not starting him. They should just get rid of him. I mean, it should be later.
I would call up the Pelicans. I'd call up the Kings. I'd call up all these teams that have assets and see what you can do, man. Those teams need to sell.
And the Warriors still have picks, man. It's time to get rid of them. It's frustrating to watch. Like tonight they play OKC and Steph's out. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah. Not that it would matter if Steph was playing, but it's not fun to watch. Podziemski's going to come out there and shoot his floaters and his step backs. And it's just like, I
wonder what it would take for I don't know how. I have to see how he's been playing, man. Obviously, I wonder what it would take for the Spurs to come off of De'Aaron Fox. You got young guards. It's kind of crowded. I could see Kuminga fitting in a little bit. They need some athleticism. I'm just curious, if you had a backcourt of those two. I don't know how the money would work, but
I also don't know if De'Aaron Fox can play enough defense. But it would still be better than what we have now.
Yeah, you think about, you take Podziemski, and trade him for, or no, you're not going to trade him because you're not going to take Podziemski, but you trade assets away, you move some things around, you bring in
Podziemski for a second round pick. Just get rid of him. They need to remove him from the equation.
Yeah,
it's like they need to take Geno Smith away from Pete Carroll because he's not going to stop playing him, and he needs to.
You got to call the Pelicans on Brandon Ingram. You got to call the damn Sacramento Kings on Sabonis.
You need DeMar DeRozan, bro. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing that DeMar DeRozan is, you need more shooting, and DeMar DeRozan is a great offensive player. He doesn't shoot the three that well. He's okay. He's more of a mid-range player, but he can help.
They also need a man, dude, because they're playing post, and that's another.
They got to do something. They got to do something.
Man, it's sickening, man, to watch Steph go out like this. Hopefully,
goddamn, like a Hartenstein they're not going to trade him, but a Hartenstein would be perfect for them. Like, just gritty, could get up and down. Like, they need.
I have a feeling they're going to get Giannis, man, and it's not going to be this year. I have a feeling Giannis is coming because Giannis is mad. He's not happy. That's
got to be on
that for him.
Like, he's out. Yeah,
he's out, and Steph, like, he can't. He's not going to play. He has 3 or 4 more years in him like this, but
they're putting too much on him now. Like, in a losing season, you don't want Steph to have to run 8 miles.
38 for you to win.
8 miles a game. You're putting stress on the guy's body, and as you get older, shit starts to break down a little bit. You're putting too much on him.
I saw this thing on Instagram where this dude swapped Kenyon Martin out for Draymond Green in
2K.
Yeah, in 2K.
I love those.
Season, and it said that Steph had one of his best statistical seasons ever because his workload went way up because he was handling the ball. But they lost in the Western Conference semis to OKC.
I watch those all the time. Love them.
They lost OKC at 6 because Steph was just exhausted from the season and the workload, and he was averaging like 32 or something, 33, and there was nobody to handle the ball. He played more minutes, and like that's what Draymond does, you know.
Well, your boy's got a big one tonight, brother. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like
you never know.
Then you show some fight, man. That's it. Like show some fight. Maybe Jimmy will show some fight. But none of these guys.
Kuminga's over. You trade him. Get what you can. And to your point, you got to do it early. Doing things right at the trade deadline doesn't, I don't think, give you enough time to implement a player, right? So if you're gonna do it now if you can.
Actually, if you're gonna make a big change, you know,
which you
need to do. A lot of teams need to do it. Actually, in fact, every team needs to do it besides OKC if you actually want to beat OKC. As crazy as that sounds. And what do you? Here's one thing. I mean, what do you do with the Clippers, man? You got to blow that shit up. You got to trade Harden. He's hooping, and I think there's two things. One, obviously they had the Clippers. The OKC has the Clippers pick, so I think the NBA will just make sure they don't get a top 7 pick. They'll just give them a 10th pick because it's not really a real lottery system. But if you're actually caring about that, you should rest all your players against the Clippers every night because you need the Clippers to win games.
Right.
So that OKC doesn't get a fucking top 5 pick.
That's crazy. OKC is just a masterclass on how to rebuild a franchise. A fucking masterclass, man. What they did, you got to write a book, man. Honestly, like it's insane. The Clippers are a fucking mess. Harden is hooping. You know, for as old as he is, he's playing great. The whole Kawhi thing is fucking done. Like I'm not a Clipper fan, but if I was, I'd be so over that. And he's not playing. He's always hurt. You know, that's finished. You got to move on from that. You know, you kind of got to tear that whole thing down. Honestly,
you can get a lot. So here's what OKC did that nobody else was willing to do. I wanted the Warriors to trade Steph 2 years ago for Steph's sake and for their sake, but for Steph's sake, nobody trades the player. Like you could have traded Bron, right? You could have tried to move him. Nobody moves the player. Everyone wants to nobody wants to move on from the players before the end of their prime, and that's what they did for all of them.
Yeah,
they traded. Like, it would have been like Orlando. If Orlando had traded Shaq to the Lakers, what they would have got for him if they didn't let him leave, right? That, changes your franchise forever. I mean. And
then their vision of seeing what SGA was. SGA was really, really good as a Clipper. He was young. You can see he was up and coming. And the Clippers wanted to pair PG with Kawhi. And Thunder was like, bet. Yeah. Give us 6, take them, and that didn't work out.
Also, they drafted Josh Giddey, and they got something for him. Like they got Caruso, which is what they needed, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a masterclass, but they're also they're trading all the players. Like Warriors didn't trade Clay, right? Nobody trades. They didn't trade any of these people, right? They traded Andre or KD for D'Lo, but that wasn't a trade, right? No. It was too late. You got nothing for him essentially. Like Harrison Barnes just bounced in his prime, right? Went to Sacramento for a $100 million contract. OKC didn't let anyone bounce. They traded everybody.
Yeah, they did.
It's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
They knew. So you got to blow the Hoopers up. Trade Harden. He's a hooper. I don't know who he would help because James Harden kind of bothers me, even though he gets 40 every night. I don't want
to play with. You got to surround him with a certain type of player. He's tough to play with. He's so ball dominant. But the Kawhi thing, again, it kills culture, honestly. The guy doesn't play. He's never available. He was great in his prime. That's done. But yeah, the Clippers are a mess, dude. I thought they were going to be good. Because I do think Ty Lue's a good coach, and I thought they had some good pieces. I think Zubac's a good big. Obviously Harden, and, you had those other guys that came in, but it's not working.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that team, I don't know. Oh, also prayers up to Nikola Topic. I didn't realize why he wasn't playing.
Testicular cancer.
Yeah, man. Hate to see it. It doesn't happen in a lot of young people. It usually happens in your right at his age or way older. And somehow he's in the small minority. Hopefully they caught it early enough that he's okay because he came off injury. He hasn't really played yet. So
for him, I think he'll bounce back, and it sounds like it's obviously curable, and he'll make a recovery. But looking forward to seeing him back on the court at some point, man. He's a hooper.
Yeah. Hey, let's hop into some NFL stuff real quick. Obviously, they were playing the Giants last night, but New England looks different. Drake May, I mean, it's easy for him. He's currently the odds-on favorite to win MVP in the NFL.
So. Go back. Who you taking, man? You had Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and then Drake May.
Well,
you got to be Drake May.
It wasn't going to be Caleb Williams ever, even though he's
playing better.
Yeah.
He's playing well.
It probably would have been Jaden, although I don't, I wasn't touching him this year. And obviously signing Terry McLaurin and all the things they did doesn't make any sense. So it's Drake May, dude. And he can run. He runs. He gets out of the pocket in times where it matters. It's like 3rd and 3. He gets 4 yards, right? Mm-hmm. He's not doing it on purpose. He's looking to throw the ball. He doesn't really have, he has Stephon Diggs, who's a little older. He loves Kayshawn. His running backs are whatever. Like it's weird. They use Ramondre Stevenson. For
they need to keep Henderson the damn ball, bro. I had him on my fantasy team. He'll have those games where he goes nuts. And the New England always does this shit.
It's Vrabel, man. He's doing the Belichick where he looked at something and he goes, you know what? We're going to get the big dude and we're going to let him run this time. Because it was weird. They would go all the way down the field because they literally didn't get stopped at all. And they go all the way down the field, and then when they get to the red zone, they put Henderson in, which makes no sense because wouldn't it be Ramondre Stevenson when the defense shrinks? But it wasn't. They ran Ramondre when it was like, at their own 30. So they did that. That's what they do. Obviously, he had used Hunter Henry a little bit, but he's flipping the ball around, dude. They're way ahead of Buffalo. They'll probably be the 1 seed. Everything goes through Foxborough. They're a young team. Great. What's that?
Vrabel's been great. He's
young Belichick,
worth every penny. Yeah.
I'm going to say Broncos at 10-2. Who I'm going to throw some stats out there. They beat the Jets and the Raiders by a combined 5 points. And in their last 4 games, they've won by a combined total of 10 points.
They're not good.
That's fool's gold. That's a recipe to get blown out in the playoffs. Like they could play the Eagles in the Super Bowl and lose by 50, like Kansas City did. They stink. Bo Nix stinks.
I don't think he's good at all. I never liked him. I think, again, we said it before, Sean Payton's a great coach. He puts them in positions to for them to score here and there, and they lay their hat on their defense, and that's that. But I'm not a believer in the Broncos even a little bit.
Nah, man. Obviously Buffalo. Josh Allen's band-aiding the thing together. They haven't played well. They've lost some games they should have won. He's
beat the Steelers, another team who I never.
Rodgers needs to not play ever. He needs to just go away. Left. Never. He can't play anymore.
I'm done with that guy. Since last year, I think the Steelers talk about trying to band-aid something together and bring in Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to be in the same spot next year without a quarterback. But yeah, the Bills needed that win bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And it was on the road, and Pittsburgh's got a good defense, and Josh Allen, and that team made it happen. I still wouldn't want to play the Bills. So
he's band-aiding it together. They have no offensive line. Every time he snaps the ball, you might as well turn around and start running.
Lost both. Yeah, he didn't have both his tackles on Sunday either, and they found a way to win. Those guys.
Pittsburgh just doesn't have any offense, man. They let Pickens go, and they bring in Aaron Rodgers, and they had Russell Wilson. They're the classic, like Mike Tomlin's still here. He might actually get fired. I think for the first time in 15 years, they're actually calling for Mike Tomlin to get fired.
I think what they might do, honestly, because of everything, how long Mike Tomlin's been there, and just with the family, with the Steelers organization, they'll probably mutually agree to part ways.
Or you move him up. Maybe Mike Tomlin doesn't coach anymore. Maybe you put him in another role. I don't know.
I think teams are so needy for coaches that I think a team would trade for Mike Tomlin.
Well, they should trade him then because.
Yeah, I agree. It's done. You need a new voice in there. Yeah, I agree.
I think whether or not Mike Tomlin's, he might be better than anyone you can get. But if he's going to leave anyways and it's broken, you might as well just trade him. And that goes for everyone. Like if a player's leaving, just trade him. For what? Why not?
Sometimes you need a new voice, man. Just like the Belichick thing got old in New England. Sometimes change of scenery is good for everybody.
Yeah, man. So I don't actually think New England can win the Super Bowl, but maybe they can. I don't think so. It takes, and maybe Drake May takes that step. Maybe it's Josh. It's definitely not anyone from the AFC North. That division's a graveyard, and Baltimore's trash. Like Lamar Jackson is weird now. I don't know what happened.
I think he's still not right. The Jets played him. We played them tough. He didn't seem right. He just seems like he's still laboring and still hurt. So yeah, that division is
the AFC
awful.
West ain't beating anyone. So maybe it's New England or Buffalo. And the South is just, I mean, maybe it's the Colts, but they're like Jacksonville's leading that division, I guess, or they're tied for the lead. It's
they've lost 2 straight. And Daniel Jones, I saw it, since the last couple of weeks, has the worst QBR in the NFL in the fourth quarter for quarterbacks.
Well,
so
the problem is, and it's been a problem even while he's been successful, is he has a lot of weapons, but he's not very, I mean, this is a stupid thing to say, but he doesn't throw the ball to the good players enough, I don't think. Like, they don't use the tight end at all. Pittman gets 5 targets. Josh Downs gets 3 targets. Pierce gets 4 targets. I mean, it's completely spread, and it's so Jonathan Taylor dependent. It's pass to Jonathan Taylor, run to Jonathan Taylor, pass to Jonathan Taylor, run. It's just like you have so many different weapons that if you use them more than Jonathan Taylor, and maybe Michael Pittman gets 8 targets or 9 targets a game, it changes the dynamic for Taylor. Their defense is good. They don't have any holes on offense. If you have no holes on offense, why does the same player get all the touches? Obviously, he's having a great season, but that's not a long-term recipe for success, right? It's like you can do that in a 1-game series, but you can't do that in a 7-game series. And the NFL season almost feels like a 7-game series. Damn, a 4-quarter football game might as well be a 3-game series.
Yeah.
So many changes and ebbs and flows and stuff. So it's just going to be hard for them to get through the playoffs like that, which is it's evident now. They need to figure out a way to their rookie tight end in the beginning of the season, he had I think he scored 4 in the first 6 games, and I don't think he scored since then until this past week. Like he went
teams have figured the Colts out a little bit almost. Like they were such a juggernaut, and now it seems like they've kind of found ways to neutralize.
Defense is good, so it's like, and Daniel Jones has time for the most part. Like they've got to change their scheme up a little bit. I don't know what that looks like midseason with the same OC, but they need to change their play calling because the players are there and they're not using them. Something's not right.
And they need, and look, like I hate to see it, even though Sauce got hurt. I love Sauce,
that
right?
Was Phillies, right? I think it was.
Well, it's his calf strain, but you know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? So he strained his calf. We've seen it with everybody, man, from Tyrese Halliburton to, you know what I mean? Like that calf strain thing is tricky. And I love Sauce and hated to see him go. It was the right move for us in hindsight, but they need him, right? So, for their sake, hopefully he gets right before the playoffs. He's going to miss some time, but yeah, I don't know. The teams that I thought were looking really good a couple of weeks ago, and like the Rams too. The bad loss. Yeah, I was really high on the Rams. I think Stafford just had an off day. Didn't play well.
Carolina's 7-6, which is still surprising because I've watched them play in person. They were bad.
They're bad. I watched the Jets should have beat them. I watched that whole game. We should have beat them the whole time. They were not impressive, and I can't believe they're 7-6. So
that was a bad loss by Stafford. What's interesting with him is he's gone completely away from Puka. Essentially, he's straight on Devontae. Which Devontae is a savage, but and they're playing a little more Blake Corum instead of Kyron Williams. They're playing both maybe.
I like mixing that up. I think Corum's a good player. I think that maybe they're shading coverage over to Puka. Maybe. I'd have to see, but, I think Puka's a better receiver.
Devontae in the red zone is automatic. Just bucket.
He's ridiculous. He's got weapons, those 2 guys on offense. So I still like the Rams. But yeah, and look, the Chiefs, they're in some trouble, brother. We called it. They're not looking good.
Not it, bro.
Not it.
I love to see it, though. Hate to say it. Love to see it. I wish the Eagles wouldn't win a game again either, but looking forward to this week. We got a big one on Thursday, Detroit and Dallas. That should be fun. There's going to be, for anyone with their fantasy teams, the playoffs are in the balance. There's not going to be any defense in that game. So if you have those players, play them because there ain't going to be any defense in that game. Zero.
Detroit doesn't look as good, man. Losing those coordinators, both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, has made a difference, man. They same player.
Genius, man.
He's great, and that's why Caleb, I think, is going to
5 in a row. It's crazy.
Yeah, Caleb's going to continue to get better because Ben Johnson is a G. He's a brilliant offensive mind, man. That's wild.
Yeah. All right, well, man, I'm excited. We got a few weeks left. I'm in 4th in my fantasy, which gets me into the playoffs, but I'm 2nd highest in scoring. So I gotta win some games. Won a big one this week, dropped 170. Bucky's back, and now Amari Hampton's about to be back. So I've been healthy in like 8 weeks, so I'm ready. It's time to step up. But what I'll say is, man, this NFL season, there's more parity this season than maybe in a long time. So there's a hole there for someone to run through. I don't know who's going to do it. Maybe we get someone like New England, with a bunch of players that haven't done it and they do it, or maybe it's time for someone like Josh Allen who should have maybe done it by now to step in. But what I will say to your point as an AFC East fan, like Buffalo needs to do it sooner than later if they're going to do it at all.
Yeah, now's the time. And if they don't do well or they don't make it far, they don't make it at least to the AFC Championship game, McDermott's getting fired. Probably should get fired anyway. But, you got generational talent. You got to fucking capitalize and win a Super Bowl with that guy. You just have to. So the GM and the coach are on the hot seat.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, good catching up with you, man. I'm excited. Sorry we missed you guys for the last couple of weeks with the holidays and stuff. We're right back into it, though. So we'll be out here at least once a week. So
yes, sir. My brother.
For listening, man. And, as we always say, and it's true, there's one thing you can't do.
And that's teach taste, man.
Can't do it. Peace.